Hey developers, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are talking a common issue that many Next.js developers face, the infamous window is not defined error. By the end of this video, you will understand why this happens and learn multiple modern solutions to handle it effectively. So let's start with typical scenario. Imagine you are building a Next.js application and you write a code like this in your component. Let's suppose you add console.log window.innerHeight. Save it. Now if you open your browser, you will immediately see this error that unhandled runtime error window is not defined. And here in the code preview, it is pointing toward this line. So the question is why this happens. This error occurs because Next.js uses server-side rendering SSR, and this is how the process works. When a user requests your page, Next.js first renders it on the server. The server doesn't have access to the browser-specific objects like window. Then the page loads in the browser client side. Finally, the browser has access to the window object. And in this process, when it is rendering on the server, as I said at that time, there is no access to the browser specific objects like window, so it will immediately throw the error that window is not defined. So now let's look into some modern solutions. So the first solution is using React hooks with useEffects. The useEffect hook is the most straightforward and recommended solution, and this is how it works. useEffect runs only after component mounts in the browser. It ensures we only access window when it's actually available. It's clean, declarative, and follows React best practices, and it is perfect for simple window access needs. So let me show you quickly that how it is going to work. Remove this line and add useEffect like this. Okay, also before that we need to create our state const window height. Make sure to import the use state as well from the React. Now set window height and take the window inner height from the window object. Okay, and we also have to pass the dependency array in the useEffect. I kept it empty so that it could execute this logic only when the component is mounted for the first time. Now here below the welcome, I will add h2 that will display window height is this. Okay, save it, and we got another error. Reload it, and you will see it is saying you are importing a component that needs useEffect. It only works in client component, but none of its parent are marked with use client, so they are server components by default. So to fix that, on the top you have to convert it to the client side component by adding the keyword use client. Okay, once you have added that, you will notice everything is working fine. You can see that earlier it was showing 0, but after some seconds or milliseconds it displays the actual height of your browser. I reduced the browser height, and if you reload it this time, the height is less than we had before. So this is simple to implement and understand. No external dependencies needed. It works with the Next.js SSR out of the box, and it's great for one-time window measurement. Now let's look into the second solution, that is custom hook for responsive design. When you need to track window size changes or handle responsive design, a custom hook is your best friend. This solution provides reusable window size tracking across components, and it automatically updates when the window resizes. It includes your proper cleanup to prevent memory leaks, and it is perfect for responsive layouts and dynamic UI adjustments. So let's quickly build up this example to show you. Here I am going to create my hook in the app directory, create the folder hooks, and within that folder I will create my first hook, use window size.js or ts, whatever you are using. Now first of all I will import the useEffect and the use state. Then we will create a function use window size like this. Then we will create our first state size and call the use state function and pass it an empty object as the default value, and within that I will pass the width and height properties with the undefined value like this. Now after that I will create the useEffect, and that useEffect will have the empty array as the dependencies, and within the useEffect I will first create a function update size, and within this function I will update my state with the actual window inner width and inner height, window inner width and window dot inner height. Okay, so in this update size function I will update my state by calling set size, and within that function call I will pass an object with my properties width dot inner width width should be equal to the window.inner width and height should be equal to the height.window.inner height. We are getting this error that number is not assignable to the type undefined. So it is inferring the types based on the values that we already have added. So we have to fix that. I will add the generic type here. So we know that we have width and height. So width and height would be of type number are undefined because initially it had nothing. Or the simpler thing is that if you don't want to add this type, you just remove it and you can just give it the initial 0 value if you want to. But if you want to add undefined, then you must have to add the proper type in the generic way. Now I will add an event listener to the resize event window.add event listener, and we're listening to the resize event and we are calling the update size, and then I will call the function update size like this. And finally I will return my cleanup function that will automatically remove this event listener when this component is unmounted. So this is how we are returning a arrow function that will return the logic. So as soon as this component is unmounted, it will immediately call this function and this event would be removed at that time. And now at the end we need to return the state size. Okay, and after the end of this file we will simply return the use window size function that we just created. Now it's time to use it in a real world usage example. So for that, in the app directory I will create a new file inside components and the file name would be responsive layout.jsx. Okay, if you are using the JS instead of TypeScript, then you can just use JSX or JS. Now we need to import our custom hook. Import use window size from this hook that we just created, and now we will create our function. So component name is responsive layout, and in the parameter it would be getting the children from the parent. And now create a constant width, height. We are getting these values from use window size custom hook that we created earlier. And on the top in this parameter I have given it the type that the children is of type react.react node, because I am going to get the react node from the parent that we will display. Now we will return an HTML div. Then we will have the current window width is equal to the width that we are getting from the hook. Then I printed the height, current window height. Now we will implement the conditional rendering based on the window size. Okay, so here I will check if width is greater than 768. Then we will show our div for desktop layout like this, and we will display our children within that div. But if width is equal to or less than 786, then we will display the mobile layout like this. And finally at the end I will return my component so that we could use it from another file. To make it a bit different, I will add these styles in my global.scss. So I have added desktop layout with the background red and mobile layout with the background color blue. Okay, now let's implement it in the page. Go to the page.tsx, and here I will remove everything from here, and here I will add my responsive layout component like this, and make sure to import it from the component that we just created. And I have passed it some data. I can say it my content. Okay, save it. Remove this unused imports. Now you can see it is showing the content in the red. By the way, let me remove this welcome message. Okay, now let's reduce the width, and you can see as soon as I entered in the mobile width, the background color has been changed to the blue, and now it is fully responsive because of the event listener that we have. So there are very nice benefits of this approach, that it is reusable across your entire application. You see that how we created the custom hook use window size. So also it handles window resize events efficiently, and it includes proper cleanup of event listener, and it is perfect for responsive designs and dynamic layouts. Now finally, let's look at the dynamic imports solution. For components that heavily rely on browser APIs or third-party libraries that need window access, dynamic imports provide the most robust solution. This approach completely skips the server-side rendering for specific components. It is perfect for integrating browser-specific libraries. It allows you to load components only when needed, and it is ideal for features like maps, charts, or browser-specific APIs. First, let's create your browser dependent component. So in the component folder, I'm going to create another file with the name map.tsx. Okay. And now let's create our function. export function map, and first thing is that we need our state, location, set location, use state. Make sure to import the use state from the React and give it the default null value. And let me correct this. Okay, great. Now I will create my use effect. Make sure to import the use effect from the React and then pass it an empty array as the dependencies. It will be executing this logic only when the component is mounted, and within this function I will check if geolocation in window.navigator. So that will verify if this function or feature is available currently or not. If this is available, then we will use navigator dot geolocation dot get current position and pass it a callback function, and this callback function will be getting the position. And now within that we will set the state location, and within that I will pass an object with the properties lat position dot coords dot latitude and then longitude lng position dot coords dot longitude. Okay, save it. We're getting this error because we did not provide specific type here, so let's add that type in this way. lat any for now and lng any. Okay, here you can also add or null, okay, because it can be null as well. Now after that I will return a div, and within that div I will add an heading your location, and below that we will have a paragraph tag latitude, and here I will display the latitude from my state that I just created, and also I need another p. Let me duplicate this, longitude, and use the relevant property of this object like this. And also I will wrap it in a condition, so let's copy this, cut it and move it in this ternary condition. If location is there, then show this content like this, but if location is not found, it is not available yet to be used, then just display this p tag with the text loading location. Okay, great. Now we have to use it in our page, so go back to the page.tsx and I'm going to remove this again. And very first thing is that we need to import the dynamic from next/dynamic, and after that let's create our dynamic component constant dynamic map is equal to call the dynamic function, and within that pass the callback function and also pass a second argument with an object with the property ssr false. Okay, and now here in this function I will return import component/map like this. Okay, by the way, it can be shorter way like this. You don't need to write return, just keep it in one line. This is shorter version. We have to fix it by adding dot then and r dot map like this. Okay, now here I will add a heading h1 location page, and below that I will use my dynamic component like this, dynamic map, save it. Okay, now I'm getting this message location page, location loading. Let me add a style display block. Actually we have this flex on it, that's why it is happening in this way. I will just add flex direction, flex column. Now let's focus on this problem, why it is not loading it yet. It is stuck on this loading the location. So go to the dynamic map. By the way, I made a mistake. It should be small l instead of capital. Now it is working. It is asking for my location. I will allow it by clicking on the allow, and now you can see after I allowed it, it showed me this location. Okay, so reload it and again you will see this location. So the benefit of this, there are several benefits of this approach. Like, it is perfect for components that only work in the browser. It reduces the initial bundle size. It prevents SSR related errors completely. It is ideal for third-party integrations. So let's quickly discuss when to use each solution. So let's break down when to use each solution. We should use the useEffect hook if you want simple window access, if you need simple window access, or if you need one-time measurement, or if your API usage, or if you need basic browser API usage. And about using custom window size hook, you can use this solution if you need responsive layouts, if you have window size dependent features. or if you need reusable window measurements. Then we have dynamic imports solution. You can use this solution if you need third-party library integration, or you have needs for complex browser APIs, or if you have components that must run only in the browser. So there are some best practices like always use hooks in the functional components, avoid checking type. So for example, this is the code, avoid checking the type of window directly in the render, and then consider performance implications when disabling SSR, and use Next.js 14's built-in features when possible. There are common mistakes that you should avoid, like don't use window checks in the global scope, don't disable SSR unnecessarily, and don't forget cleanup in useEffect, and finally don't mix different solutions without reason. That's it. You now understand not just how to handle the window is not defined error in Next.js, but also when to use each solution for optimal results. We have covered 3 powerful approaches with practical examples that you can implement in your projects right away. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe for more Next.js tutorials. Drop a comment if you have any questions or feedback or suggestion. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.